book My Street Cats, after I saw for 12 years how the cats lived in a community as opposed to the way they usually live, each individual by himself, each mother with their own kittens, and each male by himself, or maybe from time to time with a friend, and sometimes, if he's gay, with friends all the time. I thought that it was very much like the book Gorillas in the Mist, if I'm not mistaken in the name, which gave the people the opportunity to understand the gorillas. Because how can you understand a human creature? The best way to understand him is through the relationship he has with others, how he acts with others. And these individuals in the city cannot see. What they see are cats that are coming to eat and running away, or one individual cats here and there. And here there was almost 30 cats living in houses, making friends with each other. I mentioned only several phenomena which I thought were beautiful. First of all is shared motherhood. I had two kittens, two she cats that gave birth at the same day. One was a very healthy one, and the second one was thin and somewhat weak. And what happened is that they both gave birth to 6 little kittens. 2 died in the second day, and each remained with 4. But after 3 or 4 days, I saw suddenly that the strong and big one was lying around her 8 kittens. And the thin one was sitting in the sun, having no kitten near her. So I thought, what happened here? Did she take her kittens? And then I thought, maybe the other one felt not too well and asked her to help her. And she did. And that's exactly what it was. After half an hour of my standing there and watching, came the thin cat, made meow, 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 licked the fat one, whose name was Bear, licked the fat one, took the 4 kittens in each one after the other in her mouth, and put them in her own house, and lay down with them, and I saw she was not feeding it. Then I understood that the other one didn't simply watch them or play with them, she fed them. The thin one didn't have enough milk. The situation improved, the thin one became less and less thin, and the fat one became less and less fat. And after a month and a half, the thin one started feeding her own, and once she even fed 2 of Bear's kittens. And the kittens, they were not simply like brothers. It was 8 little kittens, and you know how cute they are when they are small. And they were playing unbelievable plays, because 2 mothers were watching and teaching them, and that made a hell of a difference. But it showed me what cats can do. What they cannot do when they have one mother who half the time is looking for food. They can do when they have 2 mothers who teach them, and then they threw balls. They invented games, and I was sitting there sometimes, it was in the spring, till it became cold at 6 or 7 o'clock. This is Jerusalem. So this is one phenomenon. The second phenomenon which touched my heart very deeply, I'm beginning to cry immediately when I remember it. One black cat came by himself one very stormy night. His name was Pishush. And he knew he had to survive. So he ate everything we gave him. He found a place in which he was hiding so nobody could see him. I brought to him his food alone. And after 4 or 5 weeks, he came out, and he was no longer a very small kitten, but a somewhat normal kitten. And he joined the community, and the community accepted him, because he showed them tricks. He jumped, and he played with the ball. and he was very mischievous, and they liked him. So I had another house put, and this was for Pishush. And one day I come home, and my door to my living room, uh, from my living room to the garden is opened, and I see Pishush sitting at the doorstep, not entering, but sitting, and beside him, a gray-white, beautiful cat, the same age as he. As I came in, he looked at me as if saying, "Can I bring my friend with me?" So I said, "Yes, Pishush, you can." And they both entered the living room, and they entered immediately into the bed of Pishush. Pishush had a bed in my place because I was taking care of him more than of others because he came so small. And they slept together. In the morning they ate together, then they went out together. And then Pishush came along. Shushka, that's the name of the grave one, was not with him. I wondered what happened. There were a lot of accidents with cats at the time, and I thought maybe he died. And I was already becoming very sad. By the way, taking care of cats at that time was crazy because you had to cry all the time. Every second day, a cat was hurt in the road. So they ate and went, and then, as I said, Pishush, Shushka didn't come home. And after half an hour, I heard meow, meow. I looked out and I saw Shushka standing with one leg raised. And when I called him, he tried to go to walk and could not. And I understood he broke his leg. So I took Pishush and Shushka together, put them in the kloof, and took them to the vet. And from the vet, told him, that vet was not a very nice person, but an excellent surgeon. He fixed Pishush's leg, and Pishush was supposed to lie at least 10 days, and so he did, and so did Shushka, and Pishush sat by his side all the time, didn't go anywhere. And then this friendship lasted for a year and a half until Shushka went out for a small walk. He was already our house cat, and he didn't come back. After half an hour, went out, and I was walking through all the streets, and suddenly somebody stopped me and said, "Dr. Bilski, don't watch any longer." They took him, a car hit him, he died immediately. I started crying, I was crying for days. And until now I'm crying when I remember it. But Pishush was even more sadder than me. He never had another friend, never. He had friends for a short time. He played with the little kittens. He dedicated himself like a social worker. Every small kitten that broke a leg, that had nose running, that felt bad, Pishush was beside him. He really became like a social worker, as if he decided to withdraw from this life. One day I decided it was enough. It was a year and something after Shushka died. And I took Pishush home and told him, "Do you want to stay in?" And he said yes. And he stayed in. And he stayed in for 2 years, together with Noni, who came afterwards. You can read about Noni, who is my favorite cat. He stayed with Noni. They became great friends and great rivals. They enjoyed doing the דו-קרב של חתולים. Very much, especially the screaming side, and my neighbors became quite fed up with it. So somehow I taught them to stop it, and I could see how the fact that they were at a human house, how it made them more and more human and more developed. And when they went out to the community, they taught all the other cats everything they learned. And this was beautiful, unbelievable. And you can see that there were clever cats, less clever cats, very, 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 very cunning cats, very, very naive cats. And that the character is exactly like ours. The character somehow pictures the whole behavior. And you could see that the place in the society was many times decided not upon how they looked, if the kitten was very beautiful, but if she was gay, if she could play, if she was ambitious, if she had self-confidence, then all the kittens were after her. We had one kitten that was the most beautiful one I saw, but very shy. And she had no standing in the community. So it was quite obvious that in the community of cats, in order to distinguish yourself, you have to be somebody. It's not enough to be beautiful, you have to be able to do certain things that others cannot.